4, 3, you're live. Did you know you're supposed to dance in the podcast?
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. Today's podcast number 72. 73.
Yay.
I can't believe you shot 73 podcasts already. Man, how are we not on Spotify getting a $100 million deal like Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan.
What a guy. Did you know that he's going to be the mediator for the Donald Trump-Joe Biden debate?
Perfect.
Did you know that?
Seriously?
That's
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is.
Good for him.
Turn into a UFC battle?
Oh, man, I would love to see those two old bastards go at it. It would last 10 seconds. Somebody would just fall over and break a hip for sure. So anyways, today we got a great guest. She's got an amazing, amazing story. We're going to skip the intro just because I feel like her story speaks for herself. But everybody, we got Amanda Kay in the house today. Let me give you a little love on that one. Woo! All right, so 125 pounds, that is the amount of weight that you have lost, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm just going through what you wrote me here, and I want to start off with the time that you were your heaviest. What year were you your heaviest? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was about 2002, 2003.
2002, 2003.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking 17 years later. So that's a long journey that you've kind of been on, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us how much you weighed back then? I'm sure we have a picture on the screen right now, but
315 pounds.
315. So let me ask you this, and I was at one point very overweight as well. When you woke up and looked at yourself in the mirror, do you remember the things that you thought?
Some of them.
Sort of?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was one of the kind of the main thing, or what was something that you always looked at and said, man, I really hate this part of me?
Well, it was finding clothes.
Okay.
To be honest, it was finding clothes that I wanted to wear every day, fit in every day. I was like, everything just looked like a bag.
Yeah. Yeah, so you find you really start to dress baggy to sort of cover it up, thinking that you're being clever, right? Like no one's going to see everything that's happening. I know. Jerome, I see a cord just drop down here. I'm not sure if that matters or not, but we're good? Okay. And then I see here that you found NLT back in, that would have been, what, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, well, this is our fourth year. This is coming on. Yeah, our fourth year will be April.
Yeah. But
Here.
when
I think it was about 2013 when I did a
Yeah.
boot camp out of the Chief Peguis gym.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because NLT was around for how long? That was like 7
it's
years,
long.
right?
No, it's like 10.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Even
were
longer than that.
So you were for 3 years. So you were 1 year before we turned it into Fit Body.
Yeah,
you were
and
there.
then I joined Fit Body.
Okay. So how did you, this is a question that we get all the time, or this is something that everybody asks, how do you get started? How are you at 315 pounds able to walk into the Chief and start working out? What was the motivation?
When you started?
No, actually,
Okay.
I started, a friend of mine had mentioned sponge hockey to me.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And you know what? I was like, well, I don't know what this is. I bought the shoes. I went out there and gave it a shot. I couldn't move on the ice. Not at all.
Amanda, just go a little closer.
Yeah, I couldn't move on the ice at all.
Okay.
But that's how I started getting physically active again.
Okay.
And then that got me running. And then I don't know, I had a leisure guide and
Yep.
I saw about this boot camp. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to try it.
Mm.
And I just did it.
Oh,
You know, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. 99% of the time, people just won't do it. They're fearful. They're scared. You know, and rightfully so. You know, of course, going into a facility where you think everybody's a star athlete and we can do burpees nonstop, which we can't. We all know that.
Yeah.
But so good on you for doing that. And what would you tell somebody? Let's say that the mom out there who's ready to take care of herself again. The kids are maybe growing up. What's that motivation you finally get them to get into the gym?
Well, for me, it was the results I was seeing.
Okay.
Like what got me into the gym was I got out of a bad relationship.
Okay.
And I knew the way I looked, I'm not gonna find what I want.
Right.
So I
Very
did-
honest. I appreciate that. Yeah.
I worked on myself, and it was putting the mindset in the back of my head, like the little voices telling me, "You can't do this. You're not gonna do this. People are gonna make fun of you." I put that in the back of my head, and I just did it.
Yeah.
And I didn't join boot camp with anybody. It was myself. So
Really, eh?
yeah.
I find that whole people making fun of you or shaming you, it's kind of a thing that doesn't really exist
No.
here. Not at all.
No,
You know,
no.
I feel like that's really something that people think happens, but never does. The fact that you roll in here, you're getting all kinds of respect and love because you're doing it. You know, we really appreciate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I've been to box gyms, and I can tell you there is a bit of that there.
There is
like
that,
I
yeah.
would go to use the machines, and I'd have these bigger guys looking at me like, "Well, I deserve the machine more than you." It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's go back. Was it something like, was it a gradual weight gain, or would you say that like in high school that you're somewhat bigger, or?
yeah,
what-
I was a little bigger in high school, but I really packed on the weight when I was in a relationship with someone. I started eating like he was, and he wasn't a small guy. So I started matching what he was eating, and then I put on the weight pretty quick.
So what does that look like? Because, for me, I don't know. I honestly don't know how much is a lot of food. So I'm curious because I know some people that they work out lots and then they don't really lose weight. They look like they're like getting bigger sometimes. And I'm like, what is it that you're putting in your body that allows you to get that big?
Like going back for seconds, thirds, and
So
I'm
what
not
would
talking.
what would a food look like? Like, give me an idea.
Well, back then
Is it not
was like,
just fast food, or was it lots
no,
of
it
fat
was
food?
like even cooking at home.
Yeah.
Like I would have a massive, like half my plate would be rice.
Oh, okay.
And then like 2 chicken breasts and then vegetables. So it was really like
The
a
portions.
lot of food.
Yeah.
And then what about so that sounds like it's clean food. So what about like pop and
Oh yeah,
ice cream
I was
and,
drinking
like,
pop. I was
Haagen-Dazs
eating ice
and-
cream. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I've personally found, I was looking at some photos when we were in quarantine there and doing the virtual workouts, and I was bigger and leaner then. And I was thinking, like, what changed? I'm like, what changes you? And I said this to myself, you gradually get fat.
What do you mean bigger and leaner?
So like,
what's
I was looking at some photos and I was like, man, you're like, I'm lean right now, but I'm not like how I was. And I have photos of when we were in the thing.
so you mean
The
muscular
only
and
thing
leaner?
that's changed since now and then is the fact that I've been eating out. Right. So like
Yeah.
I've been eating out
Yeah.
fried chicken, then it turns into a 2 a week. Right. I'll go out for vermicelli. Next thing you know, it's ice cream. Like summer, I didn't start eating bad until the end of summer, but it took me probably about 3 or 4 weeks to get to a point where I'm like, man, your abs are gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I was in quarantine, I wasn't eating out. Like we weren't going out. It was the gym. And then I would stay here, work here, and I would go home. And so I would just eat whatever we have there.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, back then, yeah, I was eating lots of fast food too. So it was the quantity of food I was having.
Did you find that because you were in a relationship that was maybe going downhill, you just didn't give a shit, so you were just
Yeah.
eating whatever?
Yeah, pretty
Or
much.
it's something to
And-
do, right? It's pastime.
Or something
And
to
he
do.
was very much a couch potato, and I became a couch potato. So
Yeah.
it was like sitting in front of the TV. Oh, let's have a big bowl of popcorn. And
Yeah. So what created the toxic or the bad part of the relationship? When was that? During the whole time, or when you both kind of gained a bunch of weight, or what? Give us that.
well, it got toxic. It was a cheating issue.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
yeah, once I found that out, we separated, and
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's hard to go back to a relationship when you break trust like
yeah,
that. right?
yeah.
The
exactly.
resentment.
I'm big on that. I get over things quickly, but in the back of your mind, something big like that, there's certain areas where you're just like, all right, man, you crossed the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't let it go.
Harbored or held down resentment. It's toxic. You know what
It
I mean?
is.
You really
Yeah.
got to just get away from it.
It's so like grueling on you,
Yeah.
and then it just transmits into every other aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually thinking back when that all happened, I had to move in with some family members because we had a joint house, so we had to wait for it to get sold.
yeah.
And I actually think that might have been my starting point because my aunt was very active. So she had me going out cross country skiing on their property with her and stuff like that. So I think that got me going on top of the spongy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So
You know what? It's the power of influence.
Yeah, big
right?
time.
I was
Just to
having
say
a
it.
conversation with one of our team members, and she was saying like, "Hey, RJ, like, why are people so rude?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, what do you mean?" And she's like, "I was out at a cabin, and like myself and my cousin, we went for a workout, and then we wanted to get another sweat on, so we did another workout back to back. We did 2 virtuals, and then like one of my like other friends or cousin comes up and is just like, 'What do you guys work out for?' He's like, and it's like just basically shaming her, like, you guys are ridiculous."
Yeah.
And it's just the power of influence. And I said, I don't get that anymore because I don't see those people anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you need to get rid of your friends, but sometimes you have to limit access.
Yeah.
Right? Even family, like sometimes you just, if it's uncontrollable, you have to sometimes limit access. And the people around you, and that's the one thing about Fit Club. Like we're having a great conversation with one of our members. She just joined, and she's like, "It's the people here." She's like,
It is,
"You
yeah.
guys have a great thing. It's contagious." She's like, "I feel like I want to come here. The people are all uplifting, and so if you can surround yourself with people like that, then that's the best journey." And like you started your journey in a group environment, meaning like you started with the sponge hockey.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, when they want to get started on their journey, they think that they have to get in shape and lose a ton of weight before they can actually go into a place like this or big box gym or wherever. And it's like, no, man, like you need to just start and put yourself in the best position to win.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And I found the group setting was the best. People, like, I actually found them encouraging. Like when I came to the boot camp, everybody was encouraging each other. I actually have a picture of me back from the
Yeah, she
NLT
said,
name.
yeah, she sent it to me.
Isn't it nice to be in an environment where people kind of look like you and they're sort of your same age and they're positive and they're
Yeah.
telling you to do good things?
Mhm.
It's so different from the outside world. So different. Like even yesterday, we went for. I did a bad move. I almost got into a car accident. It was my fault. Then we went into line up to get a Starbucks. What I didn't really, so we're just driving in and line up. What I didn't realize is there was a secondary line that started, but they were keeping a gap so cars could drive through. So of course this Karen comes right out, and just starts yelling at us through the window, like not a hey, just so you know you're cutting, just right away talking like I'm a 5-year-old. Then we go into the
I
Starbucks.
bet you love that.
Then we go into the Starbucks, and of course I'm getting like, where's your mask? So I just walked out. Jen stayed in there. I was like, get me out of this world. You know what I mean? And then now that I feel great now that I'm back in this in our little world here,
in your
but
bubble, yeah.
it's so different, the life outside versus inside. And I wish everybody could experience it, even just for 5 minutes, just to feel the energy, because I feel it solves all your problems. You know what I mean? It's literally your vacation now, you know?
Yeah.
Well, imagine somebody's walking around, okay? So you're going through life, okay? And somebody's walking around like, Amanda, you got this. You got this. Come on, you can go a little bit harder. You got this. Keep going. Work a little bit harder. Imagine somebody's in your ear 24 hours and
Yeah.
they're just clapping you on and they're there for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what this is.
It is, yeah. Like Jen keeps me going in the mornings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some days
5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Or
can't.
you have the other side where people are like, why do you do this? What's you know what I mean? Like, shut up.
Yeah.
And yet you'll have people that are going to shame you because you're so positive. I mean, all you
Yeah.
do is work out, and all you
Yeah.
do is eat lettuce. Like,
Yeah.
how is that a negative thing, man? I don't even understand the psyche
There
behind
needs to be
it.
more of that.
There
Yeah.
does need to be
It
more of
does.
it. But yeah, he's right about limiting access. I take it a little bit step further, and I actually cut him off completely, only because limited access still influences me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know me. I'm not very good at taking just a little bit anymore. I hold that resentment, or I'll be very angry about it. So to me, my circle is like this big now, whereas I used to have just a million friends. And the only friends I really have are the ones that work out here now.
Yeah.
My
no time for anything else.
Yeah. My family, I love my family. I love all my old
Oh,
friends.
Jeanette's on, by the way.
Yeah. What's up, Mom? But my mom's
Hi, Mom.
crushing it. My mom, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
my mom has
She's a
inspired me
different animal.
big time. She's
Yeah.
totally a different animal.
Yeah.
I forget where I was going with this topic here.
Limited access.
Limited
family.
access. Anyways,
Yeah.
you're right. You are who you surround yourself with, bottom line. So make sure you make the right decisions on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say that you've implemented that into your life?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
100%.
Yeah. So this new person in your life.
Yes,
Are they
my husband. We've been
Oh.
married 5 years.
okay?
Hey.
And how does he feel about you?
So that
and
happened in and around you joining the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is he from the gym?
No, he's not. From the gym.
Is he supportive of what you do?
Yes.
He is?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Does
actually
he get
have
that you're
a-
gone all day? Because you're playing spongy too now. So
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
from workout
Ball
to work
hockey.
to ball hockey and baseball. I think you were playing. No.
No.
Or was it
no.
just spongy?
Just spongy and ball
Spongy.
hockey.
I remember
did-
reading something about you getting always slashed. and
I
stuff.
did
was laughing.
play slow pitch,
Yeah.
but I kind of had to give up on it because I have to pick my.
Yeah. you
And
gotta-
ball hockey
yeah.
is super competitive. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I love ball hockey.
But there's times where there's tournaments. Like
Mm.
I just had one this past weekend. There's one this weekend, and I had to turn down the one this weekend so that I can see my husband.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And girls are in high demand in co-ed
Oh,
sports.
but you
Oh,
should
yeah.
you should charge. Just
Yeah.
like how goalies
Oh,
charge.
I used to charge.
You know what I mean?
Just a sub.
I'm also a goalie, so
Oh, are you?
Oh, then there you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
There's your
goalie
full-
for rent.
Yeah.
We'll create you an app or something.
Yeah.
We'll get you up on the screen. Goalie for rent.
Hey, stepping back, did you have any health-related issues that maybe have you've overcome them because of the weight loss?
well, I'm not sure if it's because of the weight loss, but I was diagnosed with celiac
Okay.
about 4 years ago.
Can you explain what that is? For
Yeah, how does that work?
So that is where your intestines cannot handle any wheat.
Mm-hmm.
It basically rejects it. And I had gotten to the point where my intestines had completely shut down. I wasn't absorbing nutrients. And I had to actually switch doctors to get diagnosed. My family doctor, for the longest time since I was a child, kept telling me, "Oh, you just have irritable bowel."
Okay.
There was one point I was out for a walk on my lunch. This might be too much information, but I had to call my mom and find out where she was because I was about to go in my pants.
Yeah.
Like it gives you an
We
uncontrollable.
like to talk about.
Yeah, we always talk about that. That's good. Bring it up.
Yeah, like it's uncontrollable. Like with celiac, you feel like you have to go that
Oh, really?
that moment.
Okay. Is that the whole gluten thing?
Yes,
That's what it
yeah.
is.
And I honestly believe that does exist, and I've done the studies on it. Where how they've changed the way that wheat is basically nurtured, right?
Yeah.
So the story behind it is the wheats used to be tall, long, and skinny, and so they wouldn't be able to withstand the temperature. So if there was any wind, you would just ruin an entire crop. And so this guy, I forgot what his name is, but he basically came up with the formula to create what's called the Franken something, right? So it's like the wheat, but it's instead of it being tall and long, it's now short and wide. And so he completely changed it. He actually won a Nobel Prize for it. And he won that because his thought was there going to be a shortage of food. And so the stem behind this is that he created this in like the late 70s where he did this whole change. Diabetes and obesity skyrocketed after this because now food became plentiful, right? And so that's when like things hit the shelf, you know, like your Rice Krispies, your box cereals, your baked breads, like nothing was made anymore. It was all like, we have an abundance of this, so that's why you can go and buy a bag of chips for cheap because we've got the science behind it, right? And so there's that transitional period. So depending on when you were born, where everybody just couldn't take it anymore.
Mid 80s.
Yeah, mid 80s. Yeah, exactly. Like if you grew up in that whatever area, then that's the shape of it. And so now the kids, like now moving forward, they're going to become intolerant to these because they're trying to remove a lot of that stuff. And so when you get that put into you, then you're just like, it's like lactose. If you don't drink milk or anything or have ice cream for a while, like most people are lactose intolerant, right? Like especially the Filipinos, right? And so, and we have a big abundance of like ice cream or something. It's going to really disrupt that flow.
Yeah. But going back to the doctor, I had to switch because I'm like, something's not right. I was getting pale. I was always getting sick. I couldn't actually work out. Like I was just wanted to sleep the whole time. So I went to a doctor, blood test showed you have the markings for celiac, went to a specialist. They did the scope. The doctor was actually surprised I wasn't hospitalized because it was to that extent. Yeah.
And you were eating probably a lot of wheat back then
too.
Yeah. So not only are you do you have the allergy to it, but now you're like over consuming it. So,
yeah.
So you're just nutrient depleted? Is that really what that boils down to?
Yeah.
Okay. Body doesn't absorb it, right?
Okay. Yeah, exactly. My intestines had completely shut down because of the wheat. So I did change my diet, and yes, that did help with the weight loss because I knew what was going on with my body.
Okay.
But it's not easy. Like there's wheat in everything.
Yeah, there is.
Well, the one like just in combination, they call it the wheat belly, right? So that's like one of the books that I read.
Yeah.
And the guys that have that distending stomach, so that hard, thickened, big stomach that looks like a beer belly, but a lot of guys have it. They don't even drink beer. That's caused by leaky gut syndrome, right? So like there's basically holes in their stomach lining.
What a name.
Yeah, leaky gut, and so the nutrients and everything is leaking out, and it's causing like inflammation between the stomach and your belly kind of thing, right? Your intestines. And so one of our sponsors, Bones and Marrow.
Bones and Marrow.
Bones and Marrow.
Yeah.
That Bones and Marrow, the broth actually helps to heal that leaky gut syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried bone broth. I want to though.
Yeah, it's good. I really like it. I miss sample days. Like, we got to bring that back. We got to talk to those.
Costco needs to bring back sample days. We all need to bring back sample days.
Yeah,
Remember
how does
the
that
good
work
old days?
now? They have samples, don't they? Just gloves. What's the difference?
Yeah, I saw them out with samples.
Did you?
Yeah, they have it.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So let's just say hello to our audience here. We got Mimi, as usual, our classic follower.
Hello, Mimi.
Hello.
We got Jeanette Mancher. We got Lisa.
Mother.
Brynes. Brynes? I'm going to say Brynes. Brynes. She says, Amanda, you're very inspirational. And Brian Maxwell says that he remembers you from when you worked together. Exactly.
Maxwell?
He sees what you've done for yourself, and he's very inspired. So keep going, Amanda.
He would actually know me from my heavier days.
You're fabulous.
Yeah. How does it make you feel knowing that you inspire other people? Did you ever feel like you would be a person that inspires other people?
I never thought I would be, but I've been getting it a lot at work too. We have a weight room at work that I will use on my lunch hours, but now due to COVID, I can't right now. But I had a lot of staff going, oh, I never thought of doing that. And they would catch me in the hallway and go, you don't stop. And so I then started seeing more staff members going to the gym. I was like, oh.
Really?
Yeah.
So you might be responsible for some other people's weight loss.
Just a little bit of credit.
It just takes one person, and then you just get it going, man.
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
it. You just have one mission, one thought, and here's the tools. You go.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I inspire people, but it does still make me feel a little like almost embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because you're thinking to yourself, why would anybody listen to me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the perfect Instagram body, and yet it doesn't matter because all you got to do is make the 1% better change, and that is what it takes. People notice it, right? A little bit better every day, and as long as you're doing that, people will fall in line behind you. They want to follow your story, and then they want to be like you as well.
yeah, well, there's lots
For
of
sure.
people I met through the 530 crew here that didn't know I looked like that back then. So
Really?
they saw the picture and it was holy.
Even if they did, they would never recognize you.
Yeah.
Like you
No,
wouldn't even
We should
know.
almost have that. You know, like we should actually do that on the wall.
I
like
agree.
a
Just have-
transformation.
Yeah,
Yep.
Jerome, that's what we're gonna
Big
do.
time.
We're gonna put a transformation wall.
Yeah, like the thousands are great.
Yeah.
When everybody looks really fantastic.
Yeah,
But what did we look
exactly.
like
What did you
before?
look before?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, my transformation was somewhere around 60. Well, in my best shape, 60 pounds. Now about 50 pounds. Like I hover around 190, whereas 180, 17 less than 180.
You were always hovering around 200, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, my
Like,
heaviest
you would always
was
go over 200, right?
Well, my heaviest was
3 years ago,
240.
and then you would drop down.
then NLT, and then I hovered around 200, and then it's just gradually, slowly coming down.
Yeah.
Which you probably are experiencing now. You don't get that rapid weight loss like you did
Yes,
previous, right? So
it's-
now you got to tweak and really do things, right?
It
So-
looks like a rocky mountain.
Oh,
Like when
yeah.
you track your progress,
Yeah.
it's like up, down, up.
Up down, up down. So let's. You started playing ball hockey. You made the decision that you want to get active. You got out of the toxic relation, so that kind of like sparked it. Now let's say somebody that is like at the front end of their journey, right? Like so they decided to join Fit Club. Okay, so like that's their first thing. So what is the progress? So you joined No Limit Training back then. You're playing ball hockey. That was like your first like joining Fit Club. So somebody that's just getting going. It's fall now. Kids are back to school.
Yeah.
People are like, yeah, I need to like shed this COVID weight. So what is the transition from where you are? Let's say somebody that's in and around that, like between 200 and 300. What would you say? Like, what is the sequential steps from that?
Just get your butt in here.
Just keep going.
Just get in here.
Yeah.
Take the leap and just do it. Like the people here are great. And reach out to someone. Like now you see me. Like ask me any questions you have. Like it's
It's funny how we always ask that question, what are you going to do to get somebody here? The answer is always just do it. Like Nike
Yeah,
nailed it
it's-
so
Yeah.
many years ago.
Yeah.
And that's the only answer.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I always
the-
think, what else can you do, right?
the only one stopping yourself is you.
Yeah. And you know what? And to add to that, stop researching and start doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too many researchers.
Stop talking. Stop
enough.
reading.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
get out there and do.
Yeah.
Take imperfect action. Try a bunch of gyms.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Try.
I read these. So I'm in this threads, and then it's not the direction that I want the thread to go, but whatever. So somebody will post, hey, what's a good gym in North Kildonan, right? Like in this North Kildonan
Yeah,
chat.
the chat, yeah.
And so people are tagging us. People are tagging these other gyms. And it's like, this is the best gym. This is the best trainer. I'm like, this is not what this woman's asking.
Yeah.
She just wants advice. Like, what should I
Yeah.
do? Like, she's not like, who's the best trainer in the world? She wants to know, like, I'm looking to get started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can anybody help? And I just go in there. I just listen. There's my gym. This is what we do. I don't know what those other guys do. It sounds like they're fabulous people. Go and try. I said, go and try them all. I said, go and try them all. This way you can find what works for you, what atmosphere that you like, what type of training. Some people might not like to lift weights and do battle ropes and run around and do abs and,
Yeah,
booty busts and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. They might want to punch bags. So then maybe they're best suited to go to a kickboxing place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you don't know that until you try.
Yeah.
And so I would tell somebody, don't try and then completely stop. Like try the other one, make a decision,
Yeah.
and then stick to that decision. And I say, give it a year. Give it a year because that's going to be long enough for you to indoctrinate. And then in that 1 year, give it your all. So like when we host challenges, do them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whatever the coaches are putting out there, if I put out a 7-day detox challenge, do it.
Yeah. Be coachable.
Yeah, be coachable. Like we're giving you all this stuff. Do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Don't kind of half in, half out. Do it. Because you're going to get the same results that you did, and it didn't work. No, it didn't work because you didn't follow the steps.
Yeah.
And
you
so
have to be committed to yourself. Like
Committed.
nobody's going to get you in here but you.
and do it. Otherwise, you are wasting your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And don't think that you're smarter than your coaches.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that when I first started, that was one thing I did. Like I'd been working out at the gym, meathead style, lifting weights at shapes my entire life, right? So I was pretty good at working out. when I found RJ on NLT and I walked down into that freaking dungeon, and I remember thinking to myself, you know what? Whatever they tell me to do, I'm going to do it. I'm making this change. I had this whole new mentality going of embracing change, trying new things, and all these guys. I remember walking in, and these guys were all so young, and they had long hair, and they just didn't look like the guys that I would ever work underneath, right? And then all of a sudden they opened their mouth, and all of a sudden I saw the way that they moved, and all of a sudden I saw the way they talked. I was like, holy, this is the right place for me.
Yeah.
So I did whatever they said. I worked out as many times as I could. Whenever they would have a coaches session where they would invite me to work out with the coaches, hell yeah, I was totally doing it with them. I would take on any bullshit challenge that he rolled at me. I always lost because I always lost to these guys. I mean, I'm taking on a challenge against guys 10 years my junior, but whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did it because I knew that I had to do it in order to hit another level, you know, and I just didn't want to be the old crusty guy that didn't ever change his mind anymore. So that's some of the advice that I'd give to anybody. If you walk in here, just open your arms up like Jesus Christ. Tell me what I got to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like people that challenge to a certain level. You know what I mean? Like some people will make it harder, but when it gets to like a standstill, that's when you need to like, all right, you need to back off a little bit. But I don't mind when people ask me questions and, you know, stuff that's kind of like, what's an alternative to it, right? Like one of the ones is like, do I need to take supplements? Well, no, you don't. But here's the success route that we've had with hundreds of other people based around the supplements that we use. And we haven't changed the supplements that we've done because they're so effective. And I've done the research on it. So it's like, find me something else that works just as good or that creates the same amount of like caloric burn or fat metabolism, that kind of stuff.
And maybe you don't need supplements just yet.
I've tried everything. I'll put it that. I've tried everything. The recent one I did was that fat lipolysis in my stomach.
How'd that
Everybody's
work
like, oh, you don't have nothing to do, which is perfect because I want to see if it works because everybody's going to go out and they're going to either do liposuction or they're going to try this lipolysis and they're going to try all these. I've tried B12 shots. I've tried everything. I do it because it's in my field. I want to try it all, right? Yeah. Within reason, right? Like I'm not going to go out and stack up on a bunch of juice and turn out to be like 280 pounds. Yeah, start punching through walls. No, so I haven't got my results yet. I'm not going to show it until the 30-day mark because I can still feel it's working in there. So far, I do notice it's a small improvement. So what I'm saying on the front end of it is that it will work for a very small area. So like most women get that kind of fat, bunchy fat between the chest and the arm. That it would go with that. It specializes in the neck. Woo! So any of the neck, you see that fly? any in the neck.
Was that a fly?
The turkey neck, right? That's what it's used for. So I'm gonna see, and then I'm gonna really like the last 2 weeks of this. I'm gonna dial into it. Like I'm getting into the challenge myself, and I'm gonna dial into my nutrition and go, and then let's see if I can see a difference. I know how my low abs. That's the one area I look at is my low abs. That's the first place I check where if I know I'm gaining too much weight. Yeah. And I don't gain weight, I gain fat. You know what I mean? And it all just sits in my stomach. So I would be curious if I can get rid of that and see how
and I'm not going to lie to the people out there that are over 300 pounds wanting to do this. I have a lot of extra skin. Like it just happens when you're losing that much weight.
And so this is what that does.
Yeah.
So without having to do the knife. But it's such a small area they can cover, and it's not cheap.
Yeah.
So it's not like a quick answer.
So he's learned a lot of lessons just from trying different things. You've learned a lot of lessons in your journey. One of them is being that you're going to have the excess skin from the weight loss. And I'd given you a list of questions that I wanted you to answer. What is another lesson that you've learned through this weight loss journey? A couple, one, several?
Keep going.
What's something with that you've...
Keep going.
Mindset.
Mindset. Watch your food portions. Food is a big part of it.
So how do you do that? How do you personally monitor?
When you say watch, what does that mean?
Well, don't have a giant half plate of rice.
So what do you do? What do you do? You still eat
Go to the rice,
obviously.
Yeah, I do actually track my caloric intake.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to go crazy.
Like you track it on an app or something?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I use my FitnessPal.
Good.
What a great tool.
It is a great tool, man. It really educates you quickly on what you're doing wrong. Hey?
Oh, yeah.
But if you're like working out, if you're going home and eating like for the next 8 hours, that's going to counteract what you're doing in the gym. So you do have to watch your food.
So you can even eat too much broccoli. Like, you know what I mean? So
what do you tell people? How do you stop mindlessly eating?
I don't even know how I did that.
Well, one of the things it's about keeping busy,
I
really,
think so.
right?
Yeah.
As soon as I sit, I eat.
Exactly. Like you really got to keep going. And that's one of the things that I challenge or I struggle with because I am a couch potato too. I love sitting on the couch. I love Netflixing.
He's watched every Netflix
I love
video.
setting up my pillows and I just love being there, right? But that is when I do a lot of the mindless eating as well.
Yeah.
So I find that if I can keep myself busy for 1 week and limit my TV time to like a quarter, I can feel it in my body within a week. You know what I mean? So it's one of the things that I've tried to do is always staying active, and that can be anything, right? Running around doing chores around the house, or maybe you do a little home improvement, or maybe you get out, ride a bike. That's why I ride a bike quite a bit, to be perfectly honest. That's one of my ways of not staying home. So,
So let me ask you guys this, right? So nobody's traveling anywhere. Normally we get ready for this trip, and so we don't mind doing the daily grind. And we got still September. It's still nice out. We got October. Hopefully it stays nice. Then we got November, and we know what happens. And then December, right? So December will go by quickly with events and stuff.
Yeah.
Like people are going to be going out to different people's houses. I think it's going to be a huge social event in December. I think there's going to be a lot of like
there has to
house
be.
parties and stuff.
Yeah.
So what is like ways we have Fit Club 100%. We know that this is 5 days a week. We have Strong we have 6 days a week here. We have Strong Sundays. You have ball hockey.
Yep.
What's something else? Like I'm legit trying to brainstorm the things I'm going to do. I might coach more.
Well, you can still do winter hiking as long as you have the proper shoes.
I think we have to get comfortable with the cold.
Yeah.
I think that's
Big
what
time.
I've actually said that to Neri. I was like, I just gotta like just get better stuff for the cold.
Yes.
Like I wear real thin layers because I go from the house to the car to the gym home. Right?
Yeah.
Well, people say, like, you can ice skate down the Red River from the Forks to the
Don't mention ice skating around Jerome.
Jerome, you fall through the ice?
He got really sick after ice skating last year.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, and his wife broke her leg.
Oh, and that's why she got the screws in there, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
No.
Okay, so.
But yeah, dress warm and
Ice
get outside.
skating.
Like,
Yeah.
They probably won't do the
snowshoeing,
festival. I can't
skiing.
see them doing
It
that.
is challenging for us, no doubt, because I know we're sitting here thinking, what can we do in the winter? Nobody wants to do shit. Let's be honest. We just want to be warm.
Yeah.
You know? So it is, I guess it's not necessarily activities. Now it's going to be willpower. Now it's going to be an understanding of what you're eating,
You're gonna be
tracking
in your
your
head.
food, working out as often as you can.
Yep.
Maybe it's not going to be doubles yet. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Tracking your food so that you understand. Learning better, making better food choices. One of the things that I do, and I brag about it all the time, the reason why I'm a couch potato is because I watch YouTube, but I watch YouTube, everything educational, right? It's all about food, finances, different things like that. So I'm not going to watch videos on puppies and kittens or I don't know how to create knickknacks or whatever, but everything that I do watch. So that's another thing that I do is self-education, right? So that would be another thing that maybe we can try and do is learn a new skill based on what's something you can do while you're watching it nice and warm on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I did read a book recently,
Learn
and actually I've been using it a lot to get me up in the morning for the 5:30.
Okay.
It's called the 5-second rule.
Oh yeah. I always
Tell
do
us
that.
about it.
It's where if your mind is keeping you from doing something, like say my alarm goes off, I don't want to get up, I hit snooze. You count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and
Boom.
you just get up. It's like blast off. And it actually works.
It
Like
does.
don't count 1 to 5, count down.
Okay.
Because if you go to 5, you're going to go to 6
Yeah.
and 7.
Yeah. So what other kind of ways do you motivate yourself or how do you find motivation besides the 5 to 1 rule?
It's the seeing results. Like,
Yeah.
and now I feel like I let people down if I'm not here at 5:30. Like I
Okay.
come and see Jessalyn.
Yeah, you have your crew.
I have
When
my
people
crew
don't show up
now.
to my sessions, I know.
Yeah.
I only have 2 classes a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I don't see you.
And forgive me, I love Wilson, but when Jen's not here Monday and Tuesday, I'm like,
I'm the wizard. You're
Where's
here
my
with the
Jen?
wizard.
She's my Jen on those days. You get her the rest. No, so that's good. So do you have kids?
I don't know.
You don't
I
have
have
kids?
stepkids, but
Okay. Boy, girls? Boys.
2 girls.
Two
and they're
girls.
older. They're in their
Good.
20s.
Oh,
They're young girls, 20s?
Well,
Okay.
20s, yeah.
What kind of advice, not to boys, to girls, I want to know specifically what a mom tells her daughter about fitness or about health and fitness. How do you make them realize the importance of staying in shape young?
Well, my stepdaughters have seen my bit of my transformation.
Okay.
So yeah, I have the one asking me questions, and I just told her, you just got to go to the gym. Just comfortable.
Are they curious? Are they asking questions? Are receptive, or are they like typical teenagers or early 20s who are like, shut up?
Oh no,
I know everything.
No, the one is serious. She wants to lose weight, and she's always asking me, like, when she comes over for dinner, oh, how'd you make this? What is this? And
oh really?
Yeah, so she's very
so simply by
and she's going to the gym, so
so just by being you and your journey has inspired her to ask questions and possibly do it as well, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's good. Hang on, let's see what else we got. My phone just went blank on me here. You got anybody that inspires you? Anybody in particular, whether they're real here or maybe they're in the internet world? Do you follow anybody?
I do follow some fitness people, but that's also a double-edged sword.
Tell me.
Because a lot of those people then get sponsored by companies that maybe aren't so legit. And then they start promoting that stuff. But they've inspired me to how they look now.
Okay.
So that gets me going. But when they start promoting products, that's when I'm not so sure about.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that we know how we do the sponsor of the month. We don't take anything out of that.
Oh, no.
Do you think
and
it's too much?
That's different. No,
Sometimes I feel weird saying it.
And that you're
promoting, but I want to help the business.
You're promoting people who go here.
Yeah.
Like their businesses. So that's
or they're like complementary businesses that we believe in would be able to help our people.
Yeah.
Like, we always try to create that guy, right? Like everybody needs a guy. Like we have Ted that he does all the, like he was here, he put in the new flooring. You know what I mean? He did the walls here. I have an electrician that did this.
Yeah.
We have a dentist
I'm
now.
Those companies that are like the MLL companies where it's like, oh, drink my tea and you're going to lose 40 pounds and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, no, so you can see right through that. Yeah, everything we do here, just like Gail from Synoptic Heating and Cooling and Manitoba Insulation, they're great. Like they're great members. They bring everybody. They engage in everything. So of course we want to support their business, and we also vet their businesses, so we know that they're delivering a good product or service, right?
Exactly.
And that's the key.
And then we can stand behind it.
Yeah.
We're not just going to throw it out there. So, anyways, when you feel down. Okay, let's talk about this. This happens, right now you're crushing it. You look the way you look, previous to what you did. You just did your 200 workout today.
Yay.
That's right.
You just signed up for another year.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're on top of the world, right? Well, let's say, so what happens when you wake up and you're like, oh man, I feel like shit, or I just don't look good today, or whatever goes on through your head. How do you deal with your down days?
Oh, I actually just had that last week.
What happened?
I didn't want to get out of bed. I was like, I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
So you went from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you didn't move.
I didn't move. But then
then
I went back to something RJ said.
Okay.
And it was like, even if you're sore, come in because it makes you feel better. And it did. I
there you
came
go.
in. I did not. I even posted that I worked out and did not have my best workout. I'm sure Jen could see I did not have my best workout.
Yeah.
I was slow. But I felt great.
Let's address that. Actually, that's important. When I don't ever want people to feel guilty about not having their best workout. Man, just show up and give 25% sometimes. That happened to me yesterday. Like Monday, Tuesday was just killer here, right? Yeah. Wednesday, I rolled in here. He didn't even bug me because he knew I was dying, and I was just like, I was going through the motions. I was trying to get a little. I just couldn't get my knees high. I just couldn't get my chest to the floor. I couldn't twist my body. But you know what? I showed up because I knew it would be better than not doing something at all, right? So. Just so everybody knows, when you are feeling down and you are feeling sore, show up anyways. You can tell us.
We'll make the best of it.
Well, we as coaches kind of know that you're struggling.
If you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day.
We might bust your chops, but we'll get over it.
And I do find it better now coming to Fit Club. When I was at home and working out in the basement, it was very much, oh, well, my bed's still here. I'm just going to stay here and sleep an extra half hour. Whereas now it's like, oh, I got all my people to go see, and they're going to wonder why I wasn't there.
Yeah. So I got one final question for you. How would you correlate mental health to your physical health? Would you say that it improved your mental health quite a bit?
Oh, yeah. I was down on myself a lot when I weighed that much. I would look in the mirror and be like, what is all this? And now it's more, I do have those days where it's like, why am I not losing? Like, why am I stalled? But then I look at how far I've come, and like my head doesn't play a part as much as it used to.
You do realize that you're never going to drop the weight like you did before, though,
exactly.
Right? Like we talked about this, and that's one of the things that
it's harder.
I feel like when you go from big to small, you have this drastic decrease, and you're so fired up, like, oh my god, and then you think you're going to lose that next 50 pounds. Now you're going to lose incrementally 1 pound a week or maybe 2 pounds, like wherever you are, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
now you're just about tweaking, right? You're going to tweak your shoulders, or maybe you got a little spot that you like. You're going to tweak your core strength. You're going to get a little more fit. Your cardio is going to get better, something like that. So those have to be your wins as opposed to scale, as the scale.
And I
right?
even like find when I'm at work, if I'm having a bad day or something stressed me out, I'll go out for, well, I usually do a lunchtime walk, but that just clears my head. Like just getting out in the fresh air and moving.
So that's another little bit of advice.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, just get moving.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else?
I think that's it. I like the scale is good. I always recommend 3 measuring tools. So you got your scale. I like to take photos and then something that like fits, right? So like for guys, it's always a dress shirt or like a pair of slacks or something that's doesn't have the stretchy. So for women, it could be a pair of pants, like skinny jeans, right? Or a dress or something like that. And use those then you have the 3 different measuring tools.
Yeah, don't become obsessed with the scale.
Yeah.
I've done that.
And if you get to a point where you've hit a wicked goal, right? Like let's say for me, I've been 5% body fat before. And it's like I was looking at a photo yesterday, it popped up on my phone. I'm like, oh God, I was shredded then, right? And I'm like, you got to look at it as a positive way. You can either use it for motivation to get you back there. You can't look at it like, oh, that's what I used to look like. Do you know what I mean? So for anybody that gets there, that's already lost the weight, that's gotten lean, and they look fantastic. There's clients that we have, like Sherry Pansieri. She works out in the morning, and she's just did a photo shoot. She looked fantastic. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she got to that epitome. She put all her efforts in. It's like you don't look at that as like, that's what I used to look like. You look like, okay, you know what? I'm out of that a little bit. Let's go. I'm getting back to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think if you put a positive twist on photos versus like you got to use the photos for the fuel. Some people are fueled by negativity. It's like I don't ever want to get like that again. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
so you can use
and that's part of it.
You got to have that mindset, right? And so I think that's one of the biggest things for people getting into their journey.
Yeah. And I feel too, the guilt.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of guilt, right? You know how you feel guilty if you don't show up?
Yeah.
I feel like people need to use that word as a positive as well, because people will use that as a negative, feel guilty, and then fall off. I failed, so, I suck. I don't want to do it anymore. Use that guilt to get your ass in here. It's okay to feel a little bit down if you miss it. You should feel it, right? Just like with, like when Jen's not here. You know what I mean? She feels guilty. I feel guilty when I don't show up. I know you probably do too, right? Yeah. So anyways, now you know that your words inspire her, right? Just show up and work through it. So there you go, a true coach. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to end it there. All right. Sounds good.
Thank
so,
you.
Guys, do us a favor, like, comment, and share this video on your Facebook. We really appreciate it, and it really helps us get some traction on this channel so more people can hear it. And also, if you're on YouTube, you can subscribe to Fit Club Media. So, everybody, thank you, Amanda, for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you on the Blue tomorrow, bright and early.
Yeah.